Now that testing has begun, Rolls-Royce has provided first looks at the F130 turbofan engines in their dual-pod configuration that will replace the outdated F130 engines currently equipping the US Air Force's B-52H Stratofortress fleet. Rolls-Royce has offered this imagery as part of an update on the years-long effort to re-engine and modernize the service's bombers. In fact, the fight to get the new B-52 engines is a saga that dates back decades. A Rolls-Royce press release explains that testing of the F130 engines under the Air Force's B-52 commercial engine replacement program is being carried out at the company's outdoor test facility at NASA's Stennis Space Center in Mississippi. The current round of testing will focus primarily on both crosswind aerodynamic flow and confirming that the engine's digital control systems can be operated as intended. The evaluations also mark the first time that the F130 engines have been tested in a dual-pod configuration. This is central to the B-52 modernization plan, which will see those bombers' 8 current engines, also in twin-pod arrangements, replaced with an equal number of F130s. In other words, 4 engine pods that are each comprised of 2 nacelles will house 8 F130s in total. The Boeing B-52 Stratofortress is an American long-range subsonic jet-powered strategic bomber. The B-52 was designed and built by Boeing, which has continued to provide support and upgrades. It's been operated by the United States Air Force since the 1950s. The bomber can carry up to 70,000 pounds, 32,000 kilograms of weapons and has a typical combat range of around 8,800 miles, 4,200 kilometers, without aerial refueling. Beginning with the successful contract bid in June 1946, the B-52 design evolved from a straight-wing aircraft powered by 6 turboprop engines to the final prototype YB-52, with 8 turbojet engines and swept wings. The B-52 took its maiden flight in April 1952, built to carry nuclear weapons for Cold War-era deterrence missions. The B-52 Stratofortress replaced the Convair B-36 Peacemaker. A veteran of several wars, the B-52 has dropped only conventional munitions in combat. The B-52's official name, Stratofortress, is rarely used. Informally, the aircraft has become commonly referred to as the Buff, Big Ugly Fat Fella. The B-52 has been in service with the USAF since 1955. There are 72 aircraft in inventory as of 2022, 58 operated by active forces, 18 by reserve forces, and about 12 in long-term storage at the Davis-Monthan AFB Boneyard. The bombers flew under the Strategic Air Command until it was disestablished in 1992 and its aircraft absorbed into the Air Combat Command. In 2010, all B-52 Stratofortresses were transferred from the ACC to the new Air Force Global Strike Command. Superior performance at high subsonic speeds and relatively low operating costs have kept them in service, despite the advent of later, more advanced strategic bombers, including the Mach 2 plus Convair B-58 Hustler, the cancelled Mach 3 North American XB-70 Valkyrie, the variable geometry Rockwell B-1 Lancer, and the stealth Northrop Grumman B-2 Spirit. The B-52 completed 60 years of continuous service with its original operator in 2015. After being upgraded between 2013 and 2015, the last airplanes are expected to serve into the 2050s. Boeing, the prime contractor for the B-52s, is overseeing the engine integration in the aircraft's overall modernization program. Rolls-Royce claims that early results from initial tests have been very positive, and that additional test data gathered as the program moves forward will be analyzed over the next several months. The engines will eventually be manufactured at Rolls-Royce's largest US-based production facility located in Indianapolis. We are excited to begin this milestone testing program, the first step for what will be decades of successful engine operation for the US Air Force B-52 fleet, said Candice Bynard, Director of Defense Programs at Rolls-Royce. Rolls-Royce continues to work very closely with the Air Force and Boeing to ensure the engine testing and integration process runs smoothly. This will result in higher fuel efficiency, reduced air refueling requirements, and significantly lower maintenance costs for the B-52 fleet. Rolls-Royce's F130 engine evaluations come after wind tunnel testing that was completed by Boeing in September of last year using a 4% model of a re-engined B-52. The company released a corresponding video explaining that their goal was to collect data for future flight tests and to ensure that the bomber's new engine configuration will work as intended with the B-52's relatively ancient airframe. Under the CERP program, newer and bigger engine nacelles supplied by Spirit Aerosystems are required to sufficiently house the higher bypass F130 turbofans. Their larger diameter meant that the nacelles needed to be positioned closer to the wing than their predecessors in order to fit. Overall, the 8-engine configuration and the TF130, based on BR700 family of off-the-shelf turbofan engines that power the aircraft, like the Gulfstream C-37 and Global Express E-11 business jets, both of which are in USAF service, was chosen to minimize the need to rework the B-52s. This will also help with accelerating flight tests. There's also the question of cost. Air and Space Forces magazine last May reported that due to integration challenges, the cost of the B-52 re-engineering program had gone up 50% from a 2017 government CERP cost estimate produced by the Air Force Program Office. The outlet quoted Air Force Acquisition Executive Andrew P. Hunter, who said the increase has been largely spurred by complications that go along with re-engineering an aircraft from the 1960s so that it can properly support the integration of the modern F-130 engines. Rolls-Royce won the long-anticipated contract to replace the B-52's existing engines in 2021, and the deal is said to be worth $500.8 million, with the potential to reach $2.6 billion if all of its options are exercised. The company expects over 600 new engines will be delivered under the award, but past contracting announcements have put that number at 608 specifically. Providing 608 F-130s would be an exact one-for-one replacement of the 8 Pratt & Whitney TF-33 engines that presently power each of the Air Force's 76 B-52H bombers. It's worth noting, though, that the procurement of spares could raise the total number as well. While the Pratt & Whitney TF-33s have powered the B-52H fleet since its oldest airframes first entered service in the 1960s, the engines have been a major factor in the growing cost and complexity of maintaining the B-52 fleet. Having been taken out of production early in 1985, the expectation is that TF-33s will no longer be supportable past 2030. Rolls-Royce, however, is confident that the B-52's new F-130s will extend the aircraft's service life by 30 years and remain on-wing throughout the duration. The F-130s will offer the B-52 greater fuel efficiency, increased range, better field performance, enhanced reliability, and reduced tanker aircraft requirements over the TF-33. While it's still unclear how the bomber's speed may be affected by this engine replacement, the War Zone has in the past cited Air and Space Forces magazine, reporting from March 2022, that notes the new engines are not expected to impact performance negatively. The new engines will also eliminate the B-52's staple dark sooty exhaust. The new nacelles and engines make up just one among a number of initiatives aimed at upgrading the B-52 fleet in the coming years. Overarching modernization effort is expected to significantly alter how the bombers look externally. Among the planned upgrades is a new AN/APG-79 active electronically scanned array radar that could boost the bomber's situational awareness and targeting capacity, and its fielding schedule appears to overlap with that of CERP. The new radar's flight testing will kick off in 2025, with initial operations capability expected in 2027. Concurrently, the Air Force is projecting that the first 2 B-52Hs modified with their new engines will be delivered in 2025 for their own flight testing program. Then, the first re-engined bombers will head to Edwards Air Force Base, California, and join a B-52 test force dedicated to assessing the upgrades. The Air Force wants the entire fleet of B-52s to be re-engined and operational by 2035. What do you think about the new Rolls-Royce engines? Let us know in the comments down below, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content. And as always, hit that notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos.